Good morning. It's Elise Buie at Elise Buie Family Law, and I'm here today to discuss with you about choosing a family law attorney. Recently, I was talking to another attorney, and we were discussing some of the things that people were asking when they're choosing an attorney, and it made me realize that people, I think, don't understand what an attorney really should be doing for you when people are concerned about whether or not their attorney graduated in the top of their class, or whether or not their attorney has a law review distinction or other kudos like that, that doesn't really matter when it comes to practicing family law, I have to tell you. And though I do have a law review distinction and did graduate at the top of my class, I think neither of those things mattered at all and do not help me in the least in what I do on a day-to-day basis. The things you need to be seeking in an attorney are emotional intelligence. I mean, I think first and foremost, are you talking to somebody who understands your family law dynamics, understands your goals, and understands how best to help you reach your goals with a variety of tools at their disposal? The court is not the only tool, and the court should not be the first tool. And if you are talking to an attorney and all they are talking about is going to court, you need to really step back and ask yourself, does this person just hold a big hammer, and do they see everything as a nail? Because that is not the way to practice family law. Many families can be really destroyed through the family court process. And if each party hires one of these attorneys that walks around with only their big hammer in hand, a lot of damage can ensue from that. I mean, that type of mentality in the profession, that type of mentality among opposing counsel, the things that those people are teaching their clients on how to resolve conflict is really fairly abhorrent. I mean, when you see two attorneys who are walking around with only their big hammers in their toolbox, and all they're doing is swinging those big hammers at every nail they see, the family is often quite damaged. And the parents in that family are not learning how to resolve conflict in a respectful, calm, reasonable way, which is what they need moving forward more than anything. Having attorneys just throw hand grenade after hand grenade, snarky email after snarky email, the damage is profound to families. So when you are hiring a family law attorney, I think it is very important that you seek out somebody who's got a high emotional intelligence, who can understand what you're going through. And I mean, really critically, who can understand what your children are going through, so that that attorney can help you better understand what your children are going through. Because the reality is, no matter how angry spouses get, and no matter how fearful they are in the divorce, and how they want to go after each other, make sure they get what they're entitled to, and all the negative, nasty stereotypes of divorce, most parents truly want what's best for their children. They do not want to be the one who is just damaging their child over and over again. And if you have an attorney who can help explain that to you, help you understand how your behavior might be damaging the child, your family is going to be so much better off. I was talking to somebody recently who is involved in the family law process and also went through as a child a very contentious divorce. And she said, if my parents could have stopped fighting about soccer, like, my life would have been so much better. She said they were just fighting constantly. And it truly has impacted how she sees things. And it has impacted things like her enjoyment of holidays moving forward, because they were always filled with conflict. And so, if you want an attorney that's just going to be a yes person and they're just going to do whatever you want to do, don't hire us. Go hire somebody else, because that is not how we roll. And it is surely not how I roll at all. I mean, I am very blunt and forthright with my clients about what they're doing, what their course of action might look like for themselves, their soon to be ex, and their children. And I think when you are hiring an attorney, it is very important to hire somebody who is strong enough and compassionate enough to be able to tell you the real deal and be blunt with you about what you're doing. Because let's face it, your children have one life to grow up, to learn the skills they need to be successful adults. Part of that obviously is conflict resolution. It's also self confidence. It's also accepting and loving both their parents despite the divorce. And so all those things are very critical. And the other thing you have to ask yourself when you're hiring a divorce attorney is this person creative? I mean, do they simply see your case like every other case they've seen? I mean, do they talk about things in terms of, well, we always do a, every other weekend and Wednesday night dinner parenting plan? I mean, run. You don't want that. You need somebody who will be nuanced, who will help you maximize your children, who will understand your strengths and weaknesses and help you in your family law matter be able to come out with your strengths intact so that you are operating in your strengths moving forward. That means parenting in your strengths, leading your next best epic life post divorce in your strengths. I mean, there are probably things you'll need to shore up that maybe your spouse has been handling, but you don't need to spend all your time focused on what maybe you've done wrong in the past or what has been the thing that really gets you down. I mean, find an attorney who is going to help you really thrive, move forward in your strengths, be able to help you get past the conflict that you're now in, and be able to address the conflict constructively and in your children's best interest. Because let's face it, getting a divorce and quote unquote winning when you destroy your children in the process is not winning. I mean, you might have, I don't know, maybe more money in the end, or maybe you might be able to say, oh yeah, my attorney took this person down, and also in the process your children were taken down. So think about it, think about who you're hiring, think about why you're hiring them, and think about the little beings that you brought into the world and what you're trying to do for them. Are you trying to ruin their entire lives by creating this just absolute catastrophe of a situation? Or are you trying to protect them? And are you trying to help them grow feeling safe, secure, loved, and confident? Think about it. You decide. You decide what your divorce looks like. You decide what your kid's life looks like. Okay. I hope you enjoyed the rest of your week, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Thanks.